All right, Dr. John. So you have been really a big advocate for educating people for a really long time. You've been doing this puzzle piece, and part of this, we're going to send a link out to you guys. If one, two things. One, our ask is one, read the puzzle piece, and then two, if you have colleagues and friends that that are looking for more information, things that help them in their practice, and you feel this is valuable, please send it on to them. So, can you tell us about how the puzzle piece started and what you do with that weekly?
I started practice in 1971, and what I learned was the most important was education. And I had some real enthusiastic patients that got miracles right to start with. I mean, God blessed me with miracles my first day in practice. I mean, I never had a month I didn't pay the overhead and then some. I think the first day I had 4 patients, and I had them all come back the second day, and they brought somebody else. So I had 8 patients the next day. It just grew exponentially. And they would say things like, "Hey, we'd like to know more about what you do. Is really cool. How about doing a little class for us?" So I went to, they set it all up. I went to the library and spoke in the library or different places they would rent or in people's house. And I wound up doing these about once a month. And then as that continued, we realized how valuable it was. We literally started doing them out of the clinic every month, once a month. We just set a time, tell all of our patients Tuesday of each month, we're going to, the first Tuesday of each month, we're going to have a class so we can bring your friends here and let us educate them. That helped in many ways that I didn't even dream. Number one, the people that came in learned more what you're going to do and why you did it, so they responded better. They learned to bring people in because they were telling people about everything that we did. We were kind of an anomaly at that time, and so then they wanted to be treated. And these classes, I get a little wordy sometimes. They'd be an hour and a half to 2 hours long when I first started doing them.
Or longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is that the patients got involved, and after a brief explanation, I go show and tell. The best thing you can do in your practice is to make people say, wow. As you bring a patient up that is wondering, can you help them? And they say, well, I brought my cousin. They're having migraines. You think you could help her? Well, let's ask the body. So we'd go through show and tell, and we'd check the range of motion. Then we'd increase the range of motion. We'd show them brain activity. We'd fix the brain activity. We'd show them a frozen shoulder. We'd get it moving better. And just every month, I would pick out a different topic or multiple topics so you would appeal to more people. And so we did that. And that's why it took a little while to do that. And of course, we had miracle stories that we told. And then people that came in almost always wanted to become patients. Now, Brandy tells me this is not legal now, but if somebody brought a person in, they became a patient, I gave them a free visit the next time because they were showing their faith in me, and I wanted to reward them and say, that's, you're not going to do that anymore. Well, okay, well, whatever. The government has all their little rules, but I had my own little rules of just rewarding people. The more I did this, the more successful it became until we actually hired a camera crew to come in every month, and videotape this as well. So then I would check these out to patients, and I would say, okay, you have it for a week, and they call it, well, I still want to show it to more people. Is it okay to keep it an extra week? And I'm going to say, no, I don't want you to say more patients in here. That'd be silly. I'd say, of course, we'll give you an extra week. Well, after this went on for a while, we were getting 50 to 70 new patients a week on average. I mean, per month, 50 to 70 patients a month. This was a pretty good average from there. And what that led into is I had to get an associate because I didn't have time to see all those patients. I didn't have time to do the exams. So that went from having one associate to 2 to 3. And then we hired a PhD to come in and help us. Besides seeing the patients, then we needed somebody to explain nutrition to them. And I didn't take time to do that in those days. And I was just learning nutrition as I went too. So with that, it kind of grew into the fact other doctors came from all over. They'd want to spend a day with me. And I put them to work, of course. And they like, man, if we get around you, we go to work. But we want to do this too. Why don't you do some training for us? So I would send those videos out to them too. And then I just said, well, to pay back to the profession has been so kind to me. Number one, got me out of where I could walk again from not being able to walk. They had to carry me in my first visit, and I walked out. That was pretty cool. And the chiropractor told me that I went back to see him for a second visit that I was going to be a chiropractor. I said, no, I'm studying to be a dentist. He said, we have lots of good dentists, but we need more good chiropractors. You owe it to chiropractic and to humanity to do for others what was done for you. I thought, well, that's pretty profound. I can live with that. So the next thing I knew, a few months later, was on my way to Palmer College. And like they say, the rest is history. The other thing interesting about that is I got my personal miracle my very first visit, but then I had to get married to Brett's mother, not for the usual reason, but I wrecked another car, which got me in trouble the first time. I wrecked my car and I didn't have a car to go back to chiropractic school in. So I asked her to marry me and go out. We were going to wait a year. We got married engaged that December, but now it was March. And I said, let's get married now. I'm going to sell your Mustang and buy a truck. So we did. It was the best thing I ever did for every reason could be possible. But
Getting married, not selling it.
no, that Mustang was nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the way it got started, and we started doing the puzzle pieces. And because everything in AK group, they would say health is a puzzle. George Goodhart would say that. I said, so well, let's start a puzzle piece. If health is a puzzle, let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. And from that was born the 6 steps to wellness. Because one patient would come in, they say, can you help migraine? I don't know. Let's see. I think so. And so some people, you would adjust the atlas and the axis or fifth lumbar or tailbone, the migraines would go away. Another person, you could adjust them always and it wouldn't go away till you occurred an emotion. Another person had the nutritional deficiencies or toxicity. When you clear that, that went away. So we grew out the 6 steps to wellness from the 6 interferences. In chiropractic school, we were taught the body needs no help. It just needs no interference. If an egg and sperm got together and made an amazing person with trillions of cells organized perfectly, then it probably didn't need my help to do that. But what it needed was to remove interferences. And there can be structural interferences, nutritional interferences, toxicities like mercury, lead, copper, whatever. You can have food allergies, sensitivities, all those type of things. So we just identified 6 different things that could cause subluxation, and we called removing those the 6 steps to wellness. And we lecture a lot for Doug Grant now with his wonderful company, Optimal Health Systems. And sometimes he wants us not to talk about the muscle testing, just tell them what they need to do. I said, well, that's great to tell them what to do, but when you show them what you did, that's where you get the miracles. And so we just had a seminar, and up on stage, Dr. Brett and I just brought people up, and we checked them, demonstrated what was wrong with them, fixed it right in front of everybody's eyes. The patient was better. The patient says, wow. And when you get a wow out of a patient, they're going to be a good patient. But they've been going around 100 places, maybe, some of them, and they haven't got wowed. They haven't got any better. And you get a wow on the first visit in 10 minutes. That's really cool. In fact, I even learned in consultation, I would shoot for a wow. I'd go back and do consultation. I kept mine fairly short, especially in those days, because I was already behind by the time I got back there. But I would say, well, where's your pain? And I said, so how do you know I have a pain? Well, I looked at the chart, number 1, but I want you to touch and show me where it is. They touched right here. Okay, so I would check a muscle, then have them touch right here, and that muscle would go weak. If it did, I said, well, there's your problem. Or if they touched it, it didn't go weak, I said, well, maybe that's where you're feeling the pain, but evidently that's not the cause of the problem. In fact, my initials are DC. That means doctor of cause. I want to find what's causing that neck pain. So since I see energies, I would look around and I'd say, oh, iliocerebral valve or hiatal hernia or a PI hip. But if you don't know, most of the time, if they touch an area here, they're going to go weak. But if they didn't, I might have them reach back and touch an SI joint, and that might make it go weak. So I say, it looks like we need to fix your pelvis, because imagine the spine sits here, the pelvis over here. If the pelvis is like this, how could the spine be proper? Or if they say I have a knee pain, I touch the knee, and if it goes weak, then I say, oh, the problem's right in your knee. Well, what if they said I had a carpal tunnel, and I had surgery, and I guess I still have it because it isn't fixed. So I would check the opponent's muscle like this, and they say it was still below weak, even though they had the surgery. And then you touch the wrist and check it again, have them touch the wrist with their other hand. If it still goes weak, I say, well, maybe it's not in your wrist. Touch your neck right here. I touch the neck and it goes strong. I know it's there. Or see, Dr. Brett's ahead of me. You can check the elbow. So they can say, wow, nobody else even could find the problem. You found the cause of the problem, and you do one thing and it's better right now. I say, tell your friends.
Here's the goal of what we want to have happen is that obviously like he could tell stories. He's been in practice over 50 years of people's life been changed because he wants to help people the way he was helped. So the goal that we have with the Puzzle Piece Show is if you want to be in a place where you can be around people that are constantly learning, constantly growing, learning how to educate your patients better, learning how to have more impact on people, please join and be part of that Puzzle Piece group so you get it once a week. On top of that, if you have colleagues of yours, what I've noticed in the field of chiropractic, I think just in professionals anyway, is a lot of us practice by ourselves, single practitioner or maybe two, but we really need a community. So there's so much knowledge in this guy's head, plus many of the certified practitioners now we've trained for over 30 years, that we want to gather in a place where we can bring all that material together so we can learn more effectively and be the community to be a part of. So number one, if you're not part of the Puzzle Piece, grab it. And number two, if you have friends or colleagues that are looking to be a part of an amazing community that's out there to help people the way you were helped, then you want to invite them into this. What we want to do is kind of gravitate here a second. Now,
how do they get the Puzzle Piece? You're going to tell them that later?
You'll get a link. So a part of this, you'll get a link directly. You just click on the Puzzle Piece, be a part of it. And this is for health professionals only. Like this isn't designed to educate the public. Our job, we want to educate you to educate your people. We'd encourage you always to do that. Nowadays, it's easier to do than ever. But like we want to get a place where health practitioners can come together, whether that's MDs, DCs, dentists, chiropractors, physical therapists, acupuncturists. Like we really don't care. We want healthcare professionals to be part of that community that are working with other people. The number two,
it's free though. Also, I just do this as a public service, and I might also. It wouldn't hurt Dr. Brett to write one once in a while, or do you write one?
Yeah.
Do you have a case history? Do you really think it went well? You'll see kind of how I write it out, but you might even do it better. Patient came in and they had chronic low back pain. They've been to 6 other doctors, and I found out the uterus was dropped. That was causing a low back pain. So I lifted the uterus, like Dr. Brimhall showed me, and their back pain went away. Things like that. Then send us a Puzzle Piece about the cases you see and how it's helped people.
Yeah, we have a lot more people to help across the globe, and this is a faster way of getting that material out. And then two is that we do certification seminars where we bring small groups of practitioners into this office to train them. Purpose of that is a lot of this work. Obviously, learning and teaching this way is great, but people need the hands-on experience to really master some of the tools and the techniques that we have. And so we do small groups. Right now we have one scheduled in November, another one scheduled in March. We'll do those as many as it needs throughout the year, as long as we just have the need for it. Our goal is to take this information that he had in his head. He's been in practice 50 years. I've been close to 25, over 25 now. Is just take this information and continue to get it out there to the public to where they're needing it, and to have people feel the confidence by coming in and learning it. So it's kept the small groups for the very purpose is that we want multiple things. One, I want you guys work done. I want practitioners to get work done in the right way, the way that we want to work on other people. And we also want you to feel like you have the ability to learn it in such a way where you leave, you not only know how to do the work, but you know how to have the conversation with your clients. You also know how to do the business practices to be successful in business. It's super important. And part of this is if you guys have been through certification, I'd love for you to kind of comment on some of these things or share this to your colleagues. Of what you have learned from certification, what you've got out of that experience, and how that's impacted, number one, you, your family, and those that you serve.
One thing that's interesting through the years that we've been able to help other doctors with, I had a single practice. I got so busy I couldn't see everybody who wanted to see me in that practice. So we built a practice 30 miles away, and we encouraged people to stay to that practice. And then this practice still got busy. I had to add an associate. So there's things that you're probably doing by yourself. Maybe we could teach you how to add an associate. And I know a doctor that I refer to all the time. He's so good that people say he's practiced out of one little room. He doesn't have any help. He can't stay caught up. Well, maybe we need to. The best thing you could do by coming to certification is bring your office plans, bring what you're doing, how many patients you're seeing, get other guys' ideas on what's happened. But I've had one office, I've had 2 offices, I had up to 4 offices. 4 offices is a good way to take temporary insanity into permanent. So don't do that. So we can tell you what to do, what not to do by making all the mistakes. He asked me one time, well, you don't want to make any of my own mistakes? I said, no, I made them all. Why should you go through them?
I'm really good from learning from other people's opportunities for learning. All right, so so a couple things, you're gonna get some links that'll be part of what's called Mentored in Miracles, which is part of the puzzle piece. And there's also a Facebook group that where I've watched him for literally decades, answering emails, which I think he likes emails, but he answered emails all the time. But we want you to put your questions in there so we can have like a lot of us learning from each other, to be able to like learn how to do the practice, learn how to have the conversation, learn how to be successful not only in practice but in business, where we can get this knowledge of all of us in a one place, but also into this private Facebook group so that we can have real conversations about real problems.
Well, I haven't even told Dr. Brett yet, but what Jason and I decided to do was we put together an entire 6 steps to wellness protocol that's on DVD. We've also done an online course of the whole 6 steps. We're going to give those to you guys in advance. Once you sign on the
when you
dot,
become a when you go certification.
well, we're going to give it to you ahead of time. And when you sign up and pay your dues, you're going to get $1,000 worth of stuff for free, so you can start studying it and know when you come what you're doing. Now, we used to be lecturing 2 to 3 times a month for years and years and years. That's what turned this is not great. This is silver. Turned me into the silver fox. But seeing patients Monday through Thursday, getting on a plane, lecturing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, come back to patients Monday. That's probably not very smart, but we wanted to change the world. Well, we can still do that, but we need your help. I'm just going to croak one of these days and go rest a little bit. Won't have time until I do that. But we want to share this with you. I've studied under Goodhart and Gonstead and Jimmy Parker and you name it. There's very few people alive that are still practicing all the people I've studied under. And I've gleaned from all of them. And I'm happy to give credit everywhere. But it's nice to have all that background so you could always go to your bag of tricks that you learned from somebody else. But we got lots of tricks. I want to pass it on before I pass on.
So help us be a part of that experience. One, come yourself, be a part of these different groups, get the certification, and to invite your colleagues that you actually want to spend time with. We want this to be like, if you don't want these people in your life, don't invite them to be part of this group. Like this group is designed to, what I think the core value is this. He wanted to help people the way he was helped. A practitioner poured that into him, and then he started with Goodhart, said, catch on fire, and people will come from miles around to watch you burn. That's what this group is. That's what this community is. So if you have other practitioners, friends, colleagues that you want to be part of that with, then invite them to be part of this group, and let's just go take wellness to the world together. Good. We'll clean some of that up.